Dan's comment sums up how we're feeling right now. Well done.
Oh my goodness. I
How's it
honestly
going,
thought
everyone?
we were going to get it done in Game 7. I really did. I know this LA team was super good, and I'm not surprised that the Jays struggled, but I honestly thought they were going to get it done in Game 7. And even in extras, I still believed. But this LA team was just too good not to give up about having a fight, for a dynasty team, right?
Now, before we get into, which we already have comments to get to already, but let's just remind everybody, not that anyone's broken any rules here, but let's keep the comments respectful and focused on the game. Everyone's welcome to share their thoughts, just no hate speech, personal attacks, or negativity. What I mean by negativity is not negativity to a direct other person. The Analyst Desk is where all about good sports talks and fair debates. And let's get right to the comments already. Well, this sucks cheese, fruit, flies, Skittles, because we don't swear at the desk.
Yeah.
Poor Jays, absolutely. A heartbreaking loss for the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm going to go melt like a cheese ball. Yeah, look, it's very frustrating. And, our good friend, Mr. Lane Dashco, is calling this a failure. And okay, I'm curious, Lane, do you mean the game or the season? The game, absolutely, I would call a failure. You should have won this game. You were up 2 runs going into the 8th. I don't think you put your Savage in a bad position.
Hang on a second.
I'm
going to get off camera for a quick minute.
Let me cook. Your Savage shouldn't have came in when he came in. Shane Bieber should have came in instead of your Savage in that moment. Jeff Hoffman cannot give up that home run to the 9th hitter. And you stranded way too many times. Dan, I'm not in the mood for your joke.
Just turn off the camera for a quick second.
You're sure. And at the end of the day, you look at this Blue Jay team. This is a game you should have won. Is the season a failure, in my opinion? Absolutely not. So, Lane, if you could clarify in the comments, do you mean the season is a failure or this game is a failure? Because I think the season you have a lot to build off moving forward. But I think this game, yeah, absolutely. You kind of just gotta look at this game as a disappointment. And the season is not a failure. I think Jays fans, if they're feeling that way now, you may feel that differently by tomorrow, or I guess it is tomorrow, so by later today if you live in Ontario. It's a heartbreaking way to lose the game. You get an amazing play in the 9th inning by the Dodgers off a beautiful hit ball by Ernie Clement. Vladdy gets you a double to start off to try to bring back a rally. And at the end of the day, the Jays just could not get it done. It sucks. It's frustrating. You're going to be frustrated. And Lane, I agree. To give up a home run to the 9th batter was a huge problem. Right? Like, I am 1,000% agreeing with you on that. I just don't think I can call this season a failure as a whole. We already have to trade Hoffman in the chat. Okay. Look, I think you do have to consider potentially
keep talking
from just Hoffman. You cannot fire everyone. Yes, Dan is shaving his beard live on the air as the series is over. I am so tempted to turn off a way to turn off his camera. I wish I could so he couldn't see what he was doing. That'd be hysterical. But at the end of the day, Lane, I do agree to a point they choked. I also felt they played a pretty good game overall. But I still think you can look at this season and take a lot of positives away from it as a whole. David, your angry emoji face, I understand the frustration. I just look at where this team was. And Lane, okay. Guys, you have to look at it. You were one of the worst teams in baseball last year, and you were 1 run away from winning a World Series. Lane, I understand your frustration. I truly do. Well, I hope you still care about me, because I still care about you. But at the end of the day, when you go from being the worst team, one of the worst teams in baseball, to being 2 runs away, from winning a World Series, you have to look at it and realize how close this team is. And they cannot make the same mistake that they made I'm going to mute your mic for a sec, Dan, just because that buzzing is really annoying. But you cannot make the same mistake they made in 2016 when they blew up the whole team a year too early. Lane, you know what, Lane? I agree. I think you would be on a rampage. And Lane, again, I get you're saying you might never get there, but okay, guys, riddle me this. Can you imagine? Dan, I've turned your mic back on, so please don't crack your shaver by your mic. That was terrible. But can you imagine if the Florida Panthers blew up the team after they lost in the Stanley Cup final?
I'll have to redo my beard afterwards, but I said I would shave it live on the air. The Jays lost, so I had to stick to my word.
What I'm getting at here is if the Florida Panthers blew up the team after they lost in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup
I'm not
final,
done yet.
I don't know why we're watching Dan strip live on the.
Let's go Raptors!
Well, here you go, everyone at the desk. You saw a nip slip for the first time at the analyst desk.
Yes, no way.
And he swears at the desk. Dan, you're fired.
Oh,
I'm just kidding, bud. Remember, Dan, you need to be respectful. Lane is telling you to throw out the sweater where it belongs. Like,
no.
Also,
I'm still
quickly,
proud
thank
of
you very much, David and Alex, for the likes. We always appreciate the likes on the videos. I'm just looking at this Blue Jay team. I look where they are, and I understand the frustration right now. But again, I look at I don't feel Jay's equal track. I'm going to use the Florida Panthers as the prime example. Can you imagine if they traded Bobrovsky, moved on from Barkov, got rid of Kachuk, and got rid of Sam Bennett.
Go Leafs, go.
And all these other things. But instead, they went, no, we're close. Let's build on it. Yeah, there are going to be some questions. Bo Bichette's one question. I think Jeff Hoffman's another question. I think potentially, unfortunately, I think that was Max Scherzer's last game in baseball, which is sad to see because he pitched great.
Yeah.
He's saying bye, Bo.
Wow. He did get the 3-1 home run.
Dan, I've been talking a lot while you've been cleaning your face and showing us your nipples.
Well, I had to say for David's
I don't see how
November.
you can fire Schneider right now. I think, Lane, I understand your frustration. I think you're going to look at this.
By Dave Snyder?
The GM. Bro, I'm sorry. Savage is partially to blame for this loss. I get he's a kid. He was put in a bad situation, but he can't give up that dinger either. You can't blame everyone else and not Savage. That's you win and you lose as a team, and you lost. But Dan, I've been talking a lot here. Are you more on my side saying, like, you think this team is... I mean, I think you're probably going to be more positive than I am because I still have a lot of things I'm frustrated about in this game, but I'm not as frustrated as Lane. But how are you feeling?
Oh, right now it stings. I'm not going to lie. But this is a year I'm going to remember for the rest of my life because I felt very involved. I was lucky enough to make a lot of Jays games this season in person. Not at the end where it got crazy expensive, but I was also lucky enough to, since we've been on the Analyst Desk here, been following the Jays this year since spring training back in Florida, back in back in February, as I say. I never had the opportunity to follow the Jays that close. And to go from a team last year, I got to give shout out to Shades, actually. Shades brought me out to my first Blue Jay game in years, about 3 years ago. That got me hooked on the Blue Jay fever again. And then it continued a lot this year, being thanks to you guys watching us. But I got to say, go from last year to 20 games under 500, thinking you're not going to sign Vladdy Guerrero Jr., thinking he's going to walk and going to get nothing for him. You go from signing Vladdy, which after this performance is actually a friendly contract, and you go to winning the division. You go to beating the Yankees. You go to not having to win in the wild card. Go from beating Yankees in 4, beating Seattle, which was another hard battle, very great team. And you took LA Dodgers, let's say it now is definitely a dynasty. You took a dynasty team to game 7 in extras of the World Series. I mean, does it suck a loss? 1,000%. But you can't look at it as a favor. The only good thing what our mom pointed out is we won't be spending a bunch of money on merchandise. So we're saving money.
I do want to point out to Lane's point, yeah, you did honestly waste between Vladdy and Ernie Clement 2 MVP caliber playoff runs. You can't
and Max Scherzer. That. I mean, it's the end of an era, end of a career, right? Could be.
And the brother Zach, I do agree. I think at the same time, you know what? Settle down respectfully. Respectfully settle down. We're gonna breathe in. Maybe we need a desk of yoga. Have you remembered the Jays were projected to finish second last? Pretty wild.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying. Right now, it stings. I'm not going to lie, but you can't. And the thing is, this team has something to build on now. You look at Florida. They didn't win Stanley Cup the first time in finals. You look at Sidney Crosby, arguably one of the best players in NHL history. He didn't win the Stanley Cup first time he made the finals, right? So you got something to build on now.
This team's close.
Yeah.
This team's close. And Key, and by the way, Key, I apologize that to some of our like very loyal viewers, I like to send them the link so they know, hey, we're going live right away. So I apologize, Key. But no regrets. Absolutely, being able to watch these games with your grandfather, I'm sure was very special. I know being able to watch so many great sports with my grandfather when he was still around was very special as well. And even just being able to watch this run with the family is something that was awesome to see. And yeah, when I say Yesavage is partially to blame for this game, I'm not saying Yesavage was bad. Yesavage put up an MVP caliber
still season.
And I do want to come back to David's comment here. Yeah, you have to look at this team was projected to finish second last, and they were 1 game away from winning a World Series. And yet, Lane, I do agree with you, and you have some cryptic message here. I don't know if you guys have played Simulacra. It's a horror video game based off a phone. That's what it's looking like here. Oh, that's what we should do live. We should get Dan to play horror games live on the air. We may have to put a warning up saying that he's going to swear a lot. But NASCAR Cup starts today. Very, very true, Mr.
Cool. Yes. NASCAR.
But at the end of the day, I think I would like to do a Blue Jays season recap at a later date. I think right now it's too fresh.
A little plus right now.
To really look at this team as a whole and be like, okay, what do they need to improve on? Who do they let go? Who do they bring back?
How see who's going to retire?
Lane can't type O's. He has to use zeros instead. We need to get him a new keyboard. But look, at the end of the day, and Lane, when we're saying these things, we absolutely love your passion still. We love everyone's passion, right?
Everyone has an opinion, right? A lot of people are going to think this season was an epic failure. Let's be honest here. Baseball's not as easy to get to the World Series as arguably hockey. You have the hardest...
I would argue hockey's harder to get to the World Series than baseball because there's no buys in hockey.
Well, okay, true. But you have
and they're all 7-game series.
You have the hardest division in baseball the Jays are a part of. Not as many teams make for playoffs in baseball. And you have like less games to do it in.
Sure, but I would still...
I'm just saying, like, you know, we haven't seen the Jays make the World Series in 30 plus years. Do we have a wait? Who knows if they're going to be alive in 30 years?
Yes, you will.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you never know.
Look, at the end of the day, I do honestly think this Jays team is very, very close.
I do too.
Like, I think they're right there. So I understand the frustration. I understand.
Lane, as much as I don't personally agree with Lane's quote, he has a very valid point. And you can't argue any point. That's why we have the decks here, right? Where everyone can share their opinion.
Very true. But at the end of the day, look, I think both teams gave it everything they had. And surprisingly, we have a surprise special guest here at the desk.
Oh, yeah, it says 3 people online, only for a person is.
It's Mr. Lane Dashing Dashko.
Oh, hi.
I'm here.
Hello.
I'm gonna need some help to stay calm, boys. But
Water.
I
Well, don't actually throw water at him.
No, I mean drink water. Not forward. You know what's something different about me, Lane?
see that.
Yeah.
Should I do the same thing? Should I shave it live on air?
May as well.
All right.
Got
Then hold on.
for
Okay,
November, right?
Hold on. I'll be back.
I will not shave my beard live on the air because I am a cultured man.
Well, as David said, it is November now, right? It is, well, technically the 2nd because it's after midnight, but we had good attentions. We will be joining David on his quest with Movember. And, we got the CFL Face Cancer too. So we got some charity things going on as well. So
Absolutely.
So Jacob will do it, just not live on the air.
I will do it, but I also have to go to work tomorrow, so I got to make sure that this face is looking as beautiful as always when all the co-ops I work with will all of a sudden think I'm their age, because when I shave, I look very young.
You do have a baby face, baby face to face to face to face face, baby face to face to face 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 face, baby face to face 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 face, baby face.
Right now, Key is saying she's having Turtles brand hot chocolate. Ooh, that sounds good.
We weren't sponsored by these guys because I could do the most epic sports commercial ever. It would piss a lot of people off.
I think we got the same shaver, bud. Close to it.
You've Manscaped?
No, I have
Speaking of Manscaped, I've heard they have like the best underwear like ever. Since we already saw Dan's nipples, don't worry, I'm not going to show you guys my underwear.
Okay, Jacob, full screen me.
If you advertise on us, you can gladly see our underwear. The underwear company advertised.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you want to go up to bat and you want to swing at balls, but you think you got more balls than the Blue Jays ever could because they choke on the balls, but you're not going to choke on the balls because you're going to use Manscaped. And when that happens, you're going to shave whatever you want to shave, and you're going to hit a home run, unlike any of the Blue Jays today, because Manscaped will always come up clutch for you in the batter's box.
That was brilliant.
Love it.
It even has a light.
Oh, it has a flashlight. Holy cow. I'm jealous now. I want mine to have a flashlight.
I've told you guys, the Manscaped stuff's incredible. I've never used it, but I've heard nothing but good things. We're not sponsored by Manscaped, but we could be. Like, we actually could be. Manscaped does a lot of sponsorship deals, so we'd love for them to.
Okay, so you want to hear something funny? I remember I used to work at this place, and everyone was like laughing about it, like being like, "Oh, who would ever care about men's health care?" And I'm like, a lot of people, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
I can tell. I can look like I'm telling a spooky ghost story, like,
"Oh,
George Springer."
One day on Halloween night, the Blue Jays could have won it all.
I do want to give a quick shout out to George Springer, actually. I thought George Springer had a phenomenal playoffs. I give him a lot of credit. He battled really hard.
Actually, hey, let's do that. Even though Jays lost, for each of us, who was the one player who really stood out this game?
And quickly, this is why single-bedroom homes have 2 bathrooms. Very, very true. This game,
do this.
Look, this game, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take what Dan probably wants to take, and he's gonna get mad at me. But Mad Max really stood up for me in this game.
It's not my pick, so good job.
He did a very, very good job at being able to keep this team in it and give this team a lead when he came out, pitched further than anyone expected, and I thought he did a phenomenal job. But quickly back to the comments. We need to get Dan undercoated before the snow hits the ground.
Right.
Bless you with your Dashco.
I can't mute myself.
Lane's got the sneeze train going on, so I've muted it just so we don't. I'm sure viewers don't want to hear him sneeze, but when he's all good, don't worry.
Undercoating's very good to do for the winter, so I get all my cars undercoated.
But okay, Dan, who's your 1J that stood out for you in this game, even though they lost?
How do you do this?
I'm shocked that you didn't pick my pick, Jacob, but I'm going with Ernie Komet. And the
I wanted
reason
to take
why,
something different because I've been going on about this guy the whole
the
playoff
reason
run.
why is he has a hockey player, same as Joel Springer, as Jacob said. He has a hockey mentality about him, you know. In the 8th inning, you know, let's just face this is the biggest game in his life. Like he's been in the minors his whole career. You know, this is the biggest game in his life. Game 7 World Series. And as he's walking over to the dugout, Hazel May, who is the female reporter for the Jays, I think it's done an excellent job throughout her career, would look really upset. And he went over to her and said, "Hey, are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I don't know how you're doing." It's like, "We're fine. We got this. We're just concerned that you're okay." And I got to give him so much respect here that in the biggest moment of his professional career, he was worried about the person and not the game. And that is huge. It takes a very strong human being and a strong leader to do that, right? And I think that's why you don't blow up this Jays team. I think quotes like that sum it up. I guess they were a little bit short this year, and it really sucks, but this team has a lot of special people.
Yeah, and there's going to be some big bonuses coming up. Hopefully,
I would
Savage
think
can
so.
afford to buy something besides a 97 Corolla. Because on that
Yeah.
by the time he pays rent in Toronto, that's all he's buying. But Mr.
Great car, though.
Mr. Dashko, by the way, you look even more dashing than you ever did before.
How'd I do?
As
Good.
much as
We'll catch up after we're off air.
But Lane, my big question for you is, I want you to try to put your positivity hat on at this point.
I don't
And
know
look at this game. Is there someone that you can single for the Jays that you felt stood out tonight? As much as they lost, it did go to extras and this team battled. Is there someone that you can look at on this roster and be like, they did step up?
Andres Jimenez.
Oh,
That's a great pick, actually. That's a phenomenal pick.
Interesting pick. I like it.
It's funny. None of us took Vladdy. None of us took Vladdy because I took Scherzer.
Vladdy in that game. Come on.
He did play well. He had a great defensive play on
Did
first. He got to second in the double innings. He is the leader of
extra
the
innings, not double innings.
Sorry, extra, whatever.
Look at the end, but like again, before we will do a full Jays breakdown show. It's a little too fresh tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, it just wasn't the Toronto Blue Jays that was on tonight. We also had the start of the Canadian football playoffs tonight.
That's right. Yes, we did.
Which was
very exciting. Was another day. Oh, wait a minute. It was. Ha ha.
So we're going to start off with my predictions. Okay, so I predicted Calgary to beat BC, Montreal to beat Winnipeg. I was kind of right in some ways. We're going to go full screen here. And BC got the win. So BC beats Calgary in a heartbreaker. I'll be honest, I was almost as devastated as when I first saw the Jays lose this game as what I was to Calgary. I really wanted Calgary to win this game. The good thing is we're one step closer to Dan wearing a Nathan Rourke t-shirt.
Oh, yeah, that's the one thing I get to be happy about.
We also had Montreal win an absolute nail-biter that never should have been a nail-biter. So now we have BC versus Saskatchewan and Montreal versus Hamilton, which means we still could get the final that I projected from the beginning, because I am still projecting the Hamilton versus Saskatchewan finals. But I am curious, boys, like looking at the way we went here, how are you guys feeling about the CFL playoffs so far?
Boy, it was crazy entertaining. I gotta say that. I mean, even on the night of Game 7, I mean, it was still very entertaining sports. It was just entertaining all around. You had CFL, you had Game 7 World Series, you had NHL. I'm sure there were some NBA games that were good too. I haven't had a chance to look under quite yet. You know, like it was just a very good, awesome day in sports overall. I thought both games were very entertaining. I felt really sad for Winnipeg. I thought they were going to get it done. If I had Zach Collaros' last game, I mean, at least he played well, but
which it could be.
I had to see a dynasty.
You actually think it's his last game ever?
Well, so Collaros said to the media he hopes it's not, but he understands if Winnipeg moves on. That's what he said in the media.
Last game in Winnipeg, but I don't think he's retiring.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm going to call it here. I think I hate to say this, but I think Winnipeg's going to blow up now. It's the NA dynasty. Zach Collaros didn't get the job done. Brady Oliveira played terrible. So I'm going to say something crazy here.
Uh-oh. More crazy than things.
Wait, Dan. I know where you're going, and this is the perfect time to bring in our most famous segment, Gas or Ass. Gas. Or is it ass?
Well, I think what I think is going to happen, gas or ass, since comparing this one is pretty awesome. I think that Winnipeg is going to go for Chad Kelly, and I think Toronto is going to get Brady Oliveira because Toronto has a record of getting Hall of Fame first-class running backs.
First class.
And let's face it, Zach Collaros started his career in Toronto. And I think it'll be kind of funny if Winnipeg got Chad Kelly because when he had this issue, Mike O'Shea was very vocal about it. And I just kind of see it happening. Winnipeg obviously needs a franchise quarterback. And I don't think Trey Ford is a franchise quarterback. I guess the only one you could possibly get is Drew Brown, but I have a feeling Ottawa's going to keep Drew Brown. I won't keep him personally. I would stick with Dustin Klum. But I could see Winnipeg going for Chad Kelly. And if you're going with Nick Arbuckle as your head for Toronto, I would love to see the Klum back as a backup to Nick Arbuckle in the Argos.
I'm going to say this. Winnipeg will not go for Chad Kelly. I think they're going to want to go for someone. I think Zach Collaros comes back to Winnipeg next year. And they bring in someone.
You say ask my comment.
That's what I'm saying, ass.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't think you're completely out to lunch, even though I don't agree with you. I think what they'll do, I think they're going to keep Zach Collaros. They're going to go get Trey Ford. Trey Ford is going to be mentored by Zach Collaros, and Trey Ford will be the starter 2 years from now.
Wow.
I think Winnipeg may take a season away because let's be honest.
His brother played in Winnipeg.
Hear me out. I thought Winnipeg proved that they still have it tonight with that second half.
Yeah, I agree.
He is saying a little bit of half-ass. I'm gas on Oliveira for Toronto.
Yeah, would that be sweet?
I don't remember if Oliveira has another year left in his deal or not, but I
could see trade Chad Kelly for Oliveira.
I could see Winnipeg moving on because that fumble by Oliveira basically cost you going to the Western Finals.
Yeah, 100% it did.
Especially from a guy who whines he wants the ball more. Again, it's the same thing I've said about Stolars. If you're gonna call people out like that,
he played well tonight.
Be able to back it up.
Did the Leafs win at least?
The Leafs did win, but at a huge cost. But we'll get into a little bit later.
Yeah.
But look, at the end of the day, I think the Winnipeg Blue Bombers can hold their head high that they made this game a game. They were down 19 going into the half. Milt Stiegel basically told people to turn off their TVs, which I'm sure TSN did.
Turn your TV off.
Turn his TV off.
Oh, mustard!
But at the end of the day, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers made an incredible comeback, like just getting big play after big play after big play in that third quarter. It ended up not being quite enough because Davis Alexander was able to get his act back together. But
we got to talk
Montreal's
about that.
got to be happy they won. Not happy that they let Winnipeg outscore them 21-7 in the third quarter.
So what do you think, Mr. Lane and Jacob, to my comment? Gasso asked Kelly in Winnipeg and Oliveira in Toronto.
I like it. I'm saying ass, but I like it. I like the ass, but I'm saying it's ass, but I like it.
It just
it's like I feel like I'm like that song where it's like
at least Dan didn't knock over his PlayStation this time. He did that once live on the air. I think that was before your time, Lane, with us at the desk.
Yes. Now, just as a reminder, it is 1 a.m., so I don't know how much longer we're going to go live. When it comes to NHL, we could talk a little now, or we could do a special tomorrow.
We'll quickly do, Dan, but we still have a little more CFL to do before we get into
100% we do, yeah.
And remember, I'm the one that's I still have to write scripts. We're covering an OJHL game tomorrow at my day job, which is a little better than the game you covered today, Lane, with the Raiders getting smoked by the Junior Buffalo Sabres.
I'm not surprised.
But are you going to be at the game, Lane?
I will not be.
But I do want to also touch base on the Montreal Alouettes. We talked a lot about Winnipeg in this one, and we will do full post-mortem shows now of Winnipeg. We got to do them of Winnipeg and Calgary coming up.
Yeah,
and we still have to do Ottawa's. But looking at Montreal, Stevie Scott III dominated.
I'm shocked about that one. I forgot who he was, to be honest.
18 carries, 133 yards,
Nuts.
2 touchdowns, and a long run of 39 yards. Montreal has found their running back.
He was the MVP of this game for sure.
Because their running game has been sus. It's been hiding in the vents for anyone who plays Among Us or who did. Yes, I like using old references. But look, at the end of the day, I think Montreal, they're not going to like the way they executed in the second half, but they're going to be happy that they get a chance to go play the Eastern Final against Hamilton, which we will also preview that game closer to. But now I do want to move on to the Western Final, which this was the game, if I'm going to be honest with you boys, this was the one that I was looking forward to the most, just on an excitement level.
So before we get into this, I got to ask Dan a question.
Yeah.
Do you believe in Nathan Rourke? Da, 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 da.
No, I don't.
What do you mean he won? You said
also here. Let's get to the comments here from Jackson. Blitz and hustle. I'm a wild Alouette. Yeah, you know what? That Alouette defense,
they were great.
Able to create enough pressure to keep Claros off schedule enough, especially in that first half. Yeah. So that Montreal defense is definitely the key to success. And thank you, Jackson, very much for the comment.
Yes, thank you. Awesome.
Well, you guys still have homework, but hot chocolate has hit the Sandman at the bottom of the mug. So it sounds like Key is heading to bed. Have a very good night, Key. Hey, you know what though? But it's not fair. You're in Alberta, so you still got more time. You got to stay up till 1:03 in the morning at least. I'm kidding, but
yeah, it's not even tomorrow yet in Alberta.
But at the end of the day, the Montreal Alouettes are moving on, and it's definitely those exotic blitzes that was a huge difference in the game today, and it's exciting to see Montreal's defense did what they did in that first half. They just got to clean up the second half a little bit, but it gives them I'm going to say this. We're not going to preview that whole game yet, but it gives them a legitimate chance of beating Hamilton.
100%.
But moving on to the Western Final, and
to answer Lane's question, since moving on to the West now, I don't believe in York because of the way BC won.
You said no.
It was too tight of a game.
Hold on. You said all he has to do is win a playoff game, and I'll start giving him credit. He did what you wanted him to do. He won a playoff game.
Oh, I'm in the championship.
Good in it.
He played okay.
Okay, yeah.
He played okay. I wouldn't say he played great. I would actually say VA outplayed him.
I agree with that 100%.
But BC outplayed Calgary. It's a team sport, and VA is part of the mistakes because there was that mismanage of the clock to end the second quarter.
Yeah.
But then you had Paredes missing a field goal and an extra point. BC wins by 3.
Yeah.
Kicking has been a problem all year for Calgary, and it bit them in the ass tonight. And I can say ass because that's okay. I have more faith in Nathan Rourke than Dan does, but my thing for Nathan Rourke, I said I want to see him win a playoff game on the road, not at home. Obviously winning at home was the first step, but now I want to see what he can do in Saskatchewan. Again, Rourke was 16 for 22, 223, no touchdowns, no picks. The big thing there is no interception.
Decent game.
68 rushing yards too.
Vernon Adams Jr. was 23 for 33, 334 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 24 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
VA also too. Jalen frickin' Philpott.
Oh yeah.
7 catches, 120 yards, and a touchdown. 30 yards after catch, plus 2 carries for 20 yards on the ground. This Calgary team, I think, is close. I do wonder, though, will Dave Dickinson be the coach next year? I want to leave you guys that little thought for when we do our season recap of the Calgary Stampeders. We really got to start flying through those. But I want to leave you guys with that. But at the end of the day, Lane, to answer your question, my faith in Nathan Rourke going into the playoffs was at 60%. Now it's at 70. I still want to see him beat Saskatchewan. That's kind of what I'm waiting for, to see him go to a hostile environment. Because if you remember, the last time he was in the playoffs, he played really well at home.
Right.
And then in Winnipeg, he completely collapsed because he couldn't take the pressure of being on the road.
Like,
That's what I'm waiting to see from Nathan Rourke still. However, did
interesting.
Nathan Rourke shut up some critics today?
Yeah.
Absolutely. 68 yards on the
100%.
ground, including that 44-yard touchdown run. Nathan Rourke had a decent to good game. He
Yeah.
did enough. The BC Lions, as a team, that defense was just able to make some key plays and key moments. And Calgary kind of shot themselves in the foot with mistakes in the kicking game and time management. You kick the field goal to end the second quarter. Even if you miss, you probably get a rouge because you're at the 20. So let's even just say you just get a rouge. There's 1 point. Now the extra point, there's 2. And let's say one of the other missed field goal, let's say you make it, there's 5. So out of thinking of a more pessimist scenario of what the kicking game would do, you still would have been forcing BC to need a touchdown. And I didn't think Calgary's defense handled that end drive very well. I loved it when they put out Butler for a quick run to make it look like they were just going to play for overtime and then quickly switch to the passing game when Nathan Rourke to do what he needed to do. But I see Lane wants to show Dan what he thinks what Dan will be wearing by mid-November.
That's right.
Dan, I'm gonna order it for you. 30. How much is it? $39. I thought that
That's
better
not
be
bad. It's a good deal.
That actually better be Canadian. I'm not paying American price.
That'll be Canadian. Buy with
It's
shop.
CFL, Canadian Football League. Hope it's Canadian currency.
You never know.
I know. Nowadays,
BCLines.com.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the end of the day, we now know the playoffs are set for the next round. Dan, this is the only thing I'm happy about if the Lions do win the Grey Cup. At least that means you have to wear a Nathan Rourke shirt, which I think will be hysterical.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
You'll be as happy as those 2 guys in the picture.
You're buying it now?
Well, I might as well get it when I get it. I got to see how it's going to... Is it in Canadian? Oh, it is in Canadian. Thank you.
And, of course, as David says, big shout out to the Toronto Rangers.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Which, actually, if you guys want, I think we will do a Raptor show very soon. Now?
Yeah, we do have to do a Raptor show soon, too.
Just because 100%. They're certainly not meeting expectations. But at the end of the day, we know the CFL playoff lineup heading into next week. We know it's going to be Hamilton versus Montreal. We know it's going to be Saskatchewan versus BC.
Oh. Are we going to the Hamilton game?
We also know that we will not see a crossover team win a Grey Cup still because that has never happened. And I am curious, though. I actually am curious about that a little bit. And as much as Winnipeg did make it closer, they made it close, a lot closer than I thought they would. Do you guys think if that was Edmonton, or I'm even going to throw Toronto in that mix, do you think that game might have ended a little differently? Like, do you think Montreal would have got to such a big lead especially against Edmonton? I don't think Montreal would have stormed out the way they did if that was against Edmonton. But
at the end of the day, it didn't really matter, right? Winnipeg still made that game very close.
I get that, but you just wonder if it was just too little too late for Winnipeg.
100% it was.
No.
And Winnipeg did take the lead, sure. But I am going to say you do wonder if this is Edmonton. Maybe Montreal doesn't score 17 points in the first 3 drives.
What's my lipstick on? What my lips are so red.
It's because you're getting ready to kiss Dan's weenus. I said weenus.
There is.
But now, speaking of Toronto, let's move on to the Toronto Maple Leafs, because I'm going to warn everyone, we are going to wrap the show up probably for the next 10 minutes or so.
First of all, we got to start the Maple Leafs. We are sending our prayers and our thoughts to Chris Tanev and his family. And we really hope that he's okay. That was a very horrible.
So I don't know if you saw the hit, Lane.
No.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Like, is he not flameless? He's really hurt?
Yeah.
He was pulled off on a stretcher.
Oh,
he was face down on the ice. They had quite a hard time flipping him over to face up.
Oh no.
And Chris Tanev was regardless, he is one of my favorites, but regardless if he's a favorite or not, as we said here on the decks before, behind the jersey, there is a human being, right? So we want to make sure everyone's okay. But Chris Tanev's a warrior. He's a fighter, He's someone I want to battle with, and he wouldn't fake an injury or anything like this. It was pretty serious what happened, so we just hope that he is okay, and we hope that he comes back soon. because number one, because he's a human, but number two, the Leafs are not the same without him in their lineup. The Leafs,
No,
one
they are
reason
not.
why the Leafs have been struggling so much because Tanev was out on another injury. And tonight was his first game back, and this happened in the.
By the way, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not concerned about the Leafs as a whole. I'm more concerned with Chris Tanev. This footage is
100%
powered by Sportsnet and
CBC.
We'll get a better angle of it. As you can see, Dan, there was a response by the Leafs when you said there wasn't.
Oh, I
not enough of a response. Come on,
You're going to see the hit in a second.
David's going to agree.
First angle wasn't very good. So as you can see, Tanev was down pretty bad, and
Mitchkov too.
I do want to add that this was only a 2-minute penalty, which I was very.
So will we see a suspension coming up?
Potentially.
Yeah,
no, not Florida.
It was Philly.
Nothing to do with Florida. It's Philly.
I'm just skipping it a little further ahead here. So here's the hit.
Oh, it looked like it was.
Can we wind it back a bit? Are you going to wind it back?
Dan, you gotta give me a second, buddy. They're not giving us very good angles here. Okay, here's actually a really good angle of it. So here's Mitchkov. There's no puck. Boom.
It didn't seem like. It seemed like you kind of ran into him by accident.
I don't think this is accidental.
I thought that at first, and the more I see it, I'm like, I don't know.
Honestly, I'm pissed off that this is only a 2-minute penalty. Thank you very much, Sportsnet, for the footage.
Yeah,
but I'm not happy that it's not that. I think that should have been a 10-minute, 10 in the game. I look at it, if that was done to Connor McDavid, that's a game misconduct.
Yeah, well, exactly.
The puck's gone, and he just runs him over. And I'm not even saying Mitchkov's a dirty player, but at the end of the day, it's not a hit you like to see. I wonder if he broke his shoulder blade. I didn't even think of the shoulder blade because when he took him off in the stretcher, they had him in the neck brace, and he did give them a thumbs up.
Yeah,
but. Let's be honest. That could be a career-ending injury, and it's a 2-minute minor.
Yeah.
The NHL has got to clean up this crap that has absolutely nothing to do with the game.
Right, because the puck was nowhere nearby.
And people were saying it's accidental. I'm sorry, and Lane, I mean, you know what? Maybe I'm being overpassionate about this now, but it is not accidental when you see the guy lead with his damn shoulder. Yeah. And at the end of the day, Philadelphia is a dirty team. That's the way they play. They're the Broad Street Bullies. Mitchkov is actually a little dirty. He's not.
They haven't been the last couple of years, though.
I don't care. That's what they're known for.
No, I get that.
At the end of the day, the NHL is just showing yet again, player safety is an absolute joke. This guy is being carried off on a stretcher from a blindside hit with the puck not even there. 2-minute minor. Like, wake up. You say you don't want fighting in the game. You don't want instigator penalties. You don't want all these things.
We need it.
You can't even put together a proper penalty. Look, at the end of the day, the Leafs were worried about the win, and I get that, but at the same time, I am disappointed that Jake McCabe, I think, should just beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, I mean, if the Maple Leafs had Matt Rempe on the bench, that would have not happened.
Yes, it would have, because Matt Rempe wouldn't make the Leafs. That's the issue.
Okay, but you got to take off someone like Ethan Cowan or Kelly Onquo.
You need other guys to step up into that role. That's where you need Simone Benoit to step into that role, because that's, I think, his role as the sixth defenseman.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Also kind of be a bit of the heavyweight. We saw Jake McCabe have a monster fight a couple games ago. I'm looking for the Leafs to have a better response, but I'm also looking for the NHL to have a better response. A 2-minute minor for a potential career-ending injury is an absolute joke.
Is this the type of game you're going to see Toronto mark Philadelphia on the calendar next time they play?
Rempe just needs to stay in the AHL, according to David, and I couldn't agree with you more, David. I don't think Matt Rempe is an NHL caliber player at all.
I do. I love him.
Yeah, I think next time Philly and Toronto are playing, I think you probably call up Pezzetta.
Yeah,
just for that one game. He's a 2-way contract. Just tell him to go find Mitchkov and beat him up. But this is what the NHL wants to avoid, and they can avoid it by giving him a 10-minute major, by giving him a game misconduct. But instead, you say, "Oh well, 2 minutes. We don't want to make it 6-7."
Matt Rempe unfortunately has one goal in 9.
This is why the NHL is seen as an absolute joke. Hits like that in the NFL and the CFL can be given a game misconduct automatically because it's a blindside hit and they say it's the most dangerous hit in sports. Lacrosse, that's an automatic 10-minute penalty in lacrosse. And lacrosse is 1,000 times more physical than hockey. Yeah, like I said, in football, that's a bare minimum 15-yard penalty, which would be equivalent to a 5-minute penalty in hockey. And it can be up to a 25-minute penalty for illegal blindside hit.
Yeah.
You have to start defending players who are defenseless.
Exactly.
And until you do, Mitchkov's just going to be like, why shouldn't I just do that again? Who cares?
Yeah,
it was a 2-minute penalty. Who cares?
Yeah.
You're going to see the Todd Bertuzzi situation at some point all over again.
100% you will.
Who cares? Look at Todd Bertuzzi. He was suspended, 10 games for almost paralyzing a human?
21.
The NHL is the NHL is, when it comes to player safety, an absolute joke. So is the NFL. You have two leagues that when it comes to player safety, it's a complete crock. And when you say, why are you saying about the NFL? Tunga Tuigaloga never should have been allowed to even step back on a field for a very long time when he got hit, got up, fell down, got up, fell down, and then tried to run 3 more series. We need these proper spotters to make better calls, and we need the leagues. And I'm not saying a Tunga Tuigaloga hit, by the way, was dirty, but I'm going against player safety because that's something that was just completely unjustified. And you need to start looking at these plays and looking at intent. What was the intent of Mitchkov there? That was intent to injure. That is not a hockey play. And if you're saying you didn't see him coming, he was right in front of you, and Tanev's a big dude.
He is, yeah.
That is like Daniel Alfredson saying Darcy Tucker looks like a hockey puck.
He did say that.
That's my opinion on this.
Yes,
you guys can disagree with me. That's fine. And maybe I am too passionate about it. And maybe this is too fresh. But watching it again, it's a dirty hit.
I agree with you.
It's not necessary. And this should be a suspension.
I think the only reason why this isn't getting as much attention as Darcy Tucker on Alfredson is not because it's Chris Tanev, but because it's game number 12 of the regular season and not the second round of the playoffs.
Well, also, too, let's be honest. Nobody cares about hockey right now. Hockey will start to get attention tomorrow or today now because it's Sunday here in Ontario. And yeah, David, he literally just got back from an upper body
first
injury.
game back. Yeah, Chris Tanev's the tank. I love him.
Riots in Toronto yet.
Well, that's good. Let's hope the city of Toronto stays classy.
I hope so. There was a lot of police presence down there.
But Lane, I know Dan said he agrees with me. Do you agree with me, or you said you thought the hit was almost accidental?
That second one looked worse.
I just look at it. I don't know how you don't see a 6'4" man on skates in front of you.
It's huge.
That's huge.
What, 230 pounds of muscle?
The closest thing we saw as a response, Benoit just missed him, but Benoit almost clobbered Mitchkov into next week.
That would have been a hit. Wow.
And I'm just looking for the NHL to do a better job. That is a game misconduct.
Yeah, 100%.
Because if that was to Connor McDavid or if that was to Kaprizov, and we need to stop looking at who has been hit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if that's some kid that is the worst player in the league or if it's Connor McDavid who's the face of the NHL. It shouldn't matter.
I agree. Yeah, that's why I gotta wonder, will there be a suspension given out on Monday?
There probably won't be because nobody cares because it's Chris Tanev. And this is the biggest problem with the NHL.
George Peros, baby.
And that's the thing, too. He hates the Leafs, and I'm going to call it out.
He does.
At the end of the day, the Leafs got a win, and I'm going to say a much-needed win. Anthony Stolarz had his best game he's had in a while.
Yeah.
I think it's his first. I think he had a 900 save percentage finally.
Very close.
No, Dan, he only allowed 2 goals on. Yeah, he had a 939 save percentage. This is his best game he's had probably since the Ranger game.
Right, yeah.
Nick Robertson had a big game with a goal and an assist for 2 points. Austin Matthews a goal. Kelly Young Crow with a goal. JT with 2 assists. Matthew Nye is up to, I think, either 10 or 11 assists now this season.
So right now, game 12, John Tavares leads the Leafs in points with 16.
That's only because Willie Nylander's been injured. The Leafs are off until Monday.
Give him credit. You pay him $4 million.
The Leafs are off until Monday when they play the Pittsburgh Penguins. Wow, and, of course, Sunday there's a lot going on in sports as well. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do anything for what's going on in the sport world tomorrow or today now.
I think I need a break from sports for like a year.
I gotta go to worky poo. But we do have 5 hockey games on the docket on Sunday, plus all the football on Sunday, especially the Bills versus Chiefs. That's gonna be
an amazing game,
phenomenal game. But I think it's time we wrap up the show for the night. Or the morning at this point.
1:22 a.m. in Ontario.
Thank you very much for joining us at the Analyst Desk with Mr. More for Your Money.
Woo!
And Mr. Lane Dashko. I'm the self-proclaimed sports analyst, and until next time, thank you for joining us at the Analyst Desk, where every day feels like game day.
Bye-bye!